Okay, getting ready to put that master cylinder back in the van here. Probably won't have the camera on for too long because it's going to be in the way. But you can see now what I'm talking about with the doghouse out of here. Really good access. This is where the master cylinder goes right there. Well, actually that's where the snout of it is. It bolts up to this plate here. You can get to all this from underneath, but this just really opened it up, and it's the only reason I even bothered to pull it out, because obviously still needs to be replaced. Let's see what we can do here. Ow. So it just sits in there like that. 4 bolts hold it to that mounting plate. Although on this one it's only 3. Looks like the last mechanic left a bolt out. Probably, yeah, probably because that's the hardest one to get to. Maybe it's not real bad, somebody just got lazy. And then at the bottom part, I'll get out of your way in a second. There we go. Is this other mount where the shift rods run through it. They support it because on this vehicle the shift rods are incredibly long, all the way from the front here to the transmission, which is back there, so unusually long. So they gave it some support, not quite midways, but close enough. Alright, it'll give us some better light. And both nut and bolt are 1/2 inch. And I need to be where you're at to get to that third one. So I'll bring it back when I'm done with that one. Okay, obviously we're underneath the van now, and this is the only thing that you got to do from underneath with the doghouse out. Obviously the skid plate is still off, but even if the doghouse was in place, you could do all this from underneath here. So this is the brake rod. Comes from the brake pedal assembly, which is right here, and just goes into the master cylinder. You can see on this ridge here, that's where the other end of that bellows boot would go. It would lock onto here, lock onto the end of the master cylinder, and it keeps the debris and moisture out of the internals of the master cylinder. Okay, and the brake rod uses a special shoulder bolt, so you can't get it too tight, because obviously you don't want to lock that part of the shaft onto that. So even after the bolt is tight, it can still freely spin. Right now I'm putting a little bit of oil on the shoulder, the bolt, and get it in there. You want to make sure you get it on the right side too, like you saw me mock it up on the back side. You got to see which side of that keeps this parallel with the frame and straight shot to the master cylinder. So the shoulder bolt goes on the outside, and then there's a lock nut for the inside. It's a little castle lock nut. This castle is not the right term, because castle bolts for a Carter, castle nut is for a Carter key, but it's the kind where the ends are pinched in. Whoa. And the bolt is a 3/4 inch, and the nut is a 5/8. It's a fine thread bolt, so it takes a little bit to cinch it down. Alright, it should be done under here. I'll meet you top side. Okay, you're not going to have the best view of this because the line is just on the other side of that plate. This is a 1/2 inch brass nut, and then the line uses a 7/16. And what you want to do, if you don't have yourself one of these flared line wrenches, get one. They will really save the nut on your line, because these, you only got traction really on two sides and a little bit of support here, but basically here and here. And those line nuts are so soft, plus they're hollow, they are super easy to strip out. This gives you contact on almost all the sides. They just leave an opening so you can put it on the line and then slide it onto the nut. And you only really need this to break it loose and to tighten it. Then you can go to your regular wrench because it's quicker. We're going to put some brake fluid in there before I put the line on, because it'll gravity feed itself a little bit and bleed the cylinder a little bit that way. 7/16 on that. Your reservoir top may look like this. These suck. Functionally, I doubt there's any difference. But a lot of the early Mopars had this, and it's concave. So the bolt sits down in there, and you may not think that's much, but it makes it really easy to ruin that bolt after time. So it's a good idea to put a washer on it to bring it up a little bit, or if you can find the better one, it's got that raise on it, so that is the better one to use. I know, exciting stuff. So with this one, you're not turning it, you're just supporting that brass nut while you're threading in the line itself. Right now I'm just going to snug this a little bit, because I am going to try to build up some brake pressure and bleed it a little from right here to get the air out of the top end and out of the master cylinder. It turns out I was wrong. I did not wreck that brake light switch like I thought. It's just that one side is a male bullet connector and the other side's a female. So they made it to where it has a specific orientation, which I'm not sure why, because all it is a continuity switch. But that's good, because I thought I broke that. Okay, I'm going to bleed this a little bit, and I'll bring it back. Okay, I got this thing bled, and I have brake pressure again. That in of itself isn't a big deal. I've had that before. Question is, are we leaking again, or still? And will it maintain the pressure? The leak's the bigger problem for me, really, because yard driving, even if I have to pump it a few times to get brakes, that's not a problem. Normally I like to wipe this stuff down when I'm working on it, because it helps you chase down any leaks. But I don't have any rag bag's down here right now. It's funny. I was pumping it up, got lots of pressure. And all of a sudden something in the rear let go. There was a pop back there. I lost all my pressure, but kept pumping it and it came back. And I've looked back there since then. I don't see anything wet coming out of the drums. So I'm thinking one of the wheel cylinders might have been stuck and that was it, just busting loose. And it also explained why that reservoir was pretty low, because it probably just filled up the cavity that wheel cylinder created. Because I'm not seeing a leak here yet. There's places where I've spilled it or bled it. But the big thing is going to be we're going to go back under and look where that rod goes into the master cylinder, because that's where it was leaking bad before I did all this. And it was a bad leak. I mean, almost a stream. It was that bad. So let's go under and see if we accomplished anything. Can't see. Is there anything coming out of that? Right here is what we're looking for. I'll be darned, it's dry. Wow. I'm impressed, because honestly I didn't think that work I did was going to do anything. You guys saw how bad the bore was in that thing, plus the crusty lip seal. But that's completely dry. Even if it starts dribbling a little bit, it's still going to be way ahead of where it was. Cool. Okay, I got back in it and it did go to the floor on the first hit. So that could be either the pressure's bleeding off internally, which is completely possible, or it could just be the rest of the system needs bleeding. And on that one I'm not going to do, because like I said, the whole brake system on this van needs to be gone through. So if I have to pump it a few times, got a good brake pedal there. It's more than I had before. So yeah, I can live with that. Cool, we're going to call that a win. Alright, this obviously was a deviation from the water pump job we were doing recently in the last part. So the next part will be finishing the water pump job. Just one led to the other, so we had an opportunity to work on that thing. Alright, so until the next time, thanks for watching.